So would I say there's demonic activity in Hollywood? I would, because you know what? When people will do anything for fame, they will sell their soul to the devil. Now, here's the truth about selling your soul. It's not for sale. Jesus Christ purchased your soul with his blood, so he owns it, nobody else. But the fact that you could bargain with the devil, that's true, and you don't want to do that. So if you're seeking anything, and when you say the words, I will do anything to become XYZ, famous, rich, powerful, the devil's listening, and he will come slinking in and try to capitalize on that statement. A lot of people don't believe in the devil. A lot of people don't believe in God. But that doesn't change the fact that God is real, Satan is real, evil is real, and he looks for nothing more than to trap you in his web and claim you for his own. And I would say Hollywood has done a big part in that end.
Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me, bless his holy name.
Hi, thanks for tuning in to Armor of God. As always, thank you so much everybody for taking the time to be here with us, and hopefully you'll be edified with what we've put together for you here. Anyway, for this video, we'll be talking about Hollywood again, and out of so many exorcists we've listened to so far, Father Daniel Reehil has been one of the most outspoken on the subject. If there's one thing that I'd like to say before we get on with this video, it's this. The movies and TV shows these days that are coming out of Hollywood, there are a lot, and I mean a lot of unnecessary sex scenes in all those movies. It's like the directors and producers are taking every opportunity they can to show people having sex on the big screen. And those sex scenes are not even adding to the stories or plots for most of the time. Heck, even the blue people created by James Cameron are having sex in the movie. Anyway, now let's get back to Father Reehil then. As the title suggests, I'll kick this off with Johnny Depp. But to be fair, this was a comment Father Reehil made when the trial between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard was ongoing.
And it's revealing a lot for the people who have eyes to see. I'm not saying Johnny Depp's possessed, but I'm saying he's exhibiting things that would lend themselves to be classified that way. He also apparently had another personality that when it came out, they called it the monster. Well, that also could be something demonic. His personality became altered frequently, and his eyes would turn jet black. Well, I can tell you as an exorcist, I've seen that in possessed people where the whites go away, and so does the color in the eye, and the whole eye turns black, or in some cases it turns into like a snake eye with a slanty up and down oval that's usually like a yellow. This is demonic infestation in people.
I guess a lot of what Father Reehil commented here about Hollywood will trigger some people who might disagree and thinking that he's just blowing things out of proportion, as I've seen in the past in the comments section. But well, I'm going to share them anyway. And now for the following part, Father Reehil also commented on Hollywood's Walk of Fame, as well as the Chinese theater that I'm sure you've seen this theater before in movies, even if you haven't been there yourself.
The things that come out of Hollywood, they used to, I think it's always been an evil place, but it was masked pretty well. But now the mask seems to be off. And now they're just putting out all sorts of very evil and, I don't know, promiscuous and if not even pornographic films. When you go to Hollywood, another man pointed this out to me one day who investigates these sort of things, about the influence of evil that comes through the media and through Hollywood. When you go there, I've been there, and you walk on Hollywood Boulevard, this is where they have all the stars on the ground, on the sidewalk, and occasionally you'll see the celebrities when they get their star, they have a big press junket, and they go and they put their, they smile and the stars put into the ground and whatnot. Well, this man, he reminded me, he said, do you know the scripture where it says a third of the stars fell from heaven? And he said, these are the ones who followed Lucifer. And it's fascinating that in the middle of this Hollywood Boulevard is this theater called Grauman's Chinese Theater. Okay? And this is a very famous theater that's been around for a long time. It's on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, like I said, with those stars. And it opened back in the 1920s. So when Hollywood began, so did, for the most part, this theater was there. Well, it's a hideous theater if you look at it. It's It's got a giant, I would say it's like a 15, 20-foot bronze dragon in the center of this theater. And the dragon watches over the stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. It's very telling. It's almost like he's watching over those that have given themselves over to him. Now, I'm not saying that's the case, but it looks that way. It appears that way. There's also 3 upside down crosses on this building, which, that's another odd thing. And it's a very dark looking place. And then all the people that go down the sidewalk, they're stepping all over these stars. It's almost like they're under our feet. It's a very weird thing that we do. But that's just one aspect.
Every now and then, we read news on sexual abuse cases in Hollywood, sexual misconduct scandals, and celebrities who are accused of sexual assaults. And the news kept coming on and on out from Hollywood, one after the other about this celebrity or that celebrity and so on. And of course, one of the more high-profile cases is this one.
Hollywood has always been a place of deception because they portray one thing when behind the scenes there's a whole lot of other things happening. And we know this now because in the last, 5 or 10 years, we've seen all of this dark side become uncovered. When we look at people like Harvey Weinstein, who was abusing people for decades, and there's no way to, the people are trapped, especially the women, but it's happened to men too. If they go out there as a young, teenager or 20-year-old person trying to make a living as an actor, they're walking into, literally, it's lambs walking into the slaughterhouse with the wolves. And so these very deplorable people in power, are requiring all sorts of sexual favors to get a job. And if they tell on them, they'll never work in Hollywood again. So they've created an environment of really, it's an unequal playing field. There's no way to have a fair shake for many, many, many people for many years. But finally, people are starting to come forward and tell that this is not a great place, and it's actually very hostile towards women and even towards the young boys. There's been several young men who stated that they were sexually abused by people in power when they arrived in Hollywood. So it's a very bad and deceptive place.
For the next clip, it's something that I definitely can relate to on the part of feeling depressed after my team's loss, and it is something that I'm still trying my best to work on.
This is very different now because in Hollywood, this is what's happened. We've raised up new idols. Remember, they used to worship the golden calf or make an idol to a bull or a snake or something like that. Well, we've skipped the animal kingdom. We went straight to people. We've made idols out of people. We've made idols out of celebrity of all sorts. We've made idols out of actors, and we've made idols out of singers. We've made idols out of sports people. When you think about what happens on a Sunday during football season, the amount of preparation people have for their team when their team's playing, there's the tailgate and you have to go get the food. I'm not saying this is wrong. I'm saying it's odd compared to the way they prepare for Mass. That's all I'm saying. Particularly think about the Super Bowl, what goes into that. The parties, the planning, the build-up. The stadium is filled, 100,000 people, decorated with the gear of their team, face painted, cheering, and then the great despair and depression if their team doesn't win it. You would think that their life depended on it. I find it a little unusual, to be honest.
Anyway, there's one more clip from Father Daniel Reehil that I'd like to share with all of you here in this video. But before that, though, I'd like to share some news here, especially for those based in New York. Apparently, a scan artist has been impersonating a priest across multiple states and recently targeted a Catholic church in the city, managing to steal nearly $1,000. And New York Police Department even said that it was offering a $3,500 reward for tips leading to the arrest of a man who impersonated a priest to gain access to a Queens church. Father Peter Rader, the pastor of the church, said the fake priest must have done his research because he knew their names, used vocabulary a priest would, and knew where to go. And the scammer also made another attempt in the Diocese of Brooklyn in October at St. Thomas Aquinas in Flatlands. Apparently at that time, he also said that he was a visiting priest who left his keys in the rectory. The sacristan called the pastor who informed him that he had no visitors, so they told him to wait, but the guy left. And on Sunday, March 3rd, a priest at American Martyrs Church was approached by an unknown individual who impersonated a priest to obtain access into the parish, and while inside, the individual removed $900 in cash from the victim's unlocked bedroom. The crook also reportedly targeted the nuns on Long Island earlier in March this year, where he also claimed to be a priest. The reason he gave was that he wanted to go into the chapel and pray while he was waiting for his friend. And once he got past reception, he did go to one of the units in the building and knocked on a sister's door who, not recognizing him, immediately slammed the door. And last October, a man calling himself Father Martin attempted to infiltrate several Texas parishes and reportedly succeeded in stealing several $100s from one Houston parish. Security footage of the Texas scammer showed a man identical in appearance to the impersonator who showed up in New York. And the man in Texas also reportedly attempted to perpetrate the scam in several Dallas parishes and may have been active in California and Oregon as well. And keep this in mind. This scammer has active warrants issued for his arrest for theft and burglary offenses he has committed across several states. So be careful, and now let's get on with the last clip from Father Reehil.
You know, when we think of Hollywood, we're dealing with people who pretend to be someone they are not. We call it acting. Some are very good at it, others not so much. But they are extraordinarily compensated for this skill, if you want to call it that gets recorded on film or digitally, I guess, these days, and then sent out over the airwaves and cable wires to your television sets, your computers, and then in the case of big movies, to movie theaters. $20-30 million for making one movie that might take 9 months. It's really an obscene amount of wealth to pretend to be somebody else. They have lifestyles, excess with private jets, yachts, multiple mansions around the world, lifestyles of debauchery and hedonism. And for some reason, this is very attractive to the American culture, particularly the youth, the millennials, the 20-somethings, the teenagers, but I would say everybody, because now we have these shows about the Real Housewives of XYZ. These are not real housewives. These women are incapable of running a house. They have people that do that for them. And they're attracting an older set of women who I guess desire to live that life. It's a very strange phenomenon. I'm not saying everybody in Hollywood is leading a sinful life, but I'm saying it is a bastion of sin, I would say of capital sin, of pride, of anger, of greed, of gluttony, of envy, sloth, and lust. It's a wormhole of that stuff. And for some reason, we're now living in a time when we exalt these people. We put them on a pedestal. We desire to have this lifestyle. We want to be famous. This is why all these people are rising up on all these social media platforms, the TikTokers and Instagram account people. They want, and Facebook even, they want to be liked and they want to be adored. Well, I'm here to tell you the only one who is worthy to be adored is Jesus. That's it.
Well then, that will be all for the video this time. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us, and hopefully you've learned a lot from this video. Before we get to the end of this video, there are a few updates that I'd like to share with you here. Charles recently emailed me regarding his new book, and I am always more than happy to help him out. So I'll be doing book giveaway later this month. But unfortunately for this time, I'll be giving away the book to the channel members only.
Greetings, Armor of God, and thank you again for the opportunity to feature my books on your channel. My newest book is The Occult Among Us, and it's the second in a series, so to speak, following The Rise of the Occult, which you featured last year. Both of these books are endorsed by Bishop Athanasius Schneider, Bishop Joseph Strickland, and the exorcist in D.C., Monsignor Stephen Rossetti. They're also based on 40 interviews I conducted with former occultists, exorcists, parish priests, and a whole bunch of other people who've had run-ins with the occult. The Occult Among Us goes through various forms of the modern modern manifestations of the occult, including modern Satanism, what it really believes, Wicca, witchcraft, Ouija boards, spirit summoning apps, which you can get on your phone, which exorcists and former occultists have both told me about. So it's very enlightening, follows a whole bunch of different topics we need to know the details about, where the hidden dangers are that even occultists admit to. So it's very helpful for teachers, parents, youth, bishops, priests, because more and more people, unfortunately, are getting into the occult, and most people don't understand what it's all about and what it really believes. So it avoids the dark, gory details that we don't really need to know, but exposes the things that we do need to know. So you can find my books at slayingdragonspress.com. That's my website. Also, pretty much anywhere books are sold. I believe Armor of God is going to have a giveaway, so keep an eye out for that. Thank you again, Armor of God. God bless you all.
As for the second update, from April onward, I'll be requesting for interviews with the priests that I usually feature on this channel on my own, so this way the questions asked will be the ones set by me. Sometimes the questions that people ask when they are interviewing these priests, like Father Lampert or Father Carlos Martins, just seem so generic, such as how did you become an exorcist in the first place? We've heard their answers to this question many times before, and I feel it's a missed opportunity to ask other questions that haven't been addressed by them before. So hopefully, if we're the ones doing the interviews on our own, we can put together interesting questions together. Well then, that will be all for now. If it isn't too much of a hassle, please do share this video on your social media to help spread the message. Anyway, for those of you who'd like to support our works, I left a link to our PayPal donation in the description box below, and from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for your continuous support, contribution, and prayers. I cannot thank all of you enough for your kindness. And until the next one, stay safe, stay healthy, and may God bless you.
So be careful about what you take in to your soul through your eyes and ears, because there's a lot of bad stuff out there. All this stuff about witchcraft and these witches, there's so many shows about witches, trendy witches that look cool. It's not cool. Being a witch is not cool. You're working with the demonic world. Don't let your kids watch these things, and don't you watch these things. Don't indulge in capital sin television. So the Kardashians and the Real Housewives and all these sort of things. Don't watch those things.